For decades, the defense of North American skies was built on an unspoken rule. Canada provides the geography, and the United States provides the blueprint. When it came to high-end strategic military hardware, Ottawa almost universally defaulted to American-made systems. But on May 27, 2026, at the CANSEC Defense Exposition in Ottawa, that paradigm shattered. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney stepped up to the podium and announced a monumental shift in North American defense strategy. Canada is officially entering negotiations to procure a fleet of airborne early warning and control aircraft. But they aren't buying them from Boeing. They aren't buying them from the United States. Instead, Canada has selected the Swedish defense giant Saab and its GlobalEye surveillance aircraft, fundamentally rejecting the American-made Boeing E-7 Wedgetail. This is not just a routine military purchase. We are talking about a $5 billion program for 6 advanced aircraft that will act as the all-seeing eyes of the Canadian Armed Forces. More importantly, this decision represents a profound geopolitical pivot. Canada is signaling to the world, and specifically to Washington, that it is actively seeking strategic autonomy, looking to diversify its military alliances, and prioritizing sovereign industrial power over off-the-shelf American integration. Today, we are going to break down exactly what the Saab GlobalEye is, how it fundamentally changes the game for Arctic defense in NORAD, why Canada rejected the heavy-hitting Boeing E-7 Wedgetail, and what this shockwave decision means for the rapidly shifting landscape of global defense procurement. What is the Saab GlobalEye? To understand why this decision is sending ripples through the Pentagon, you first have to understand the machine Canada is buying. The Saab GlobalEye is what the military calls an AEW&C platform, an airborne early warning and control aircraft. If you've ever seen a military jet with a massive surfboard-like apparatus strapped to its roof, you've seen an AEW&C plane. But the GlobalEye is a distinctly modern breed. It is built on the airframe of the Bombardier Global 6500, an ultra-long-range, high-speed business jet. And crucially for Ottawa, that jet is designed and manufactured right in Toronto, Canada. But the magic happens when Saab takes that civilian airframe and bolts on the Erieye Extended Range Radar System. This is a massive active electronically scanned array, or AESA radar. Unlike older radar dishes that physically spin, an AESA radar uses thousands of tiny, solid-state transmitting modules to steer radar beams electronically in fractions of a second. The GlobalEye can detect targets up to 650 kilometers away. And it's not just looking for massive enemy bombers. The Erieye ER is incredibly sensitive. It is designed to operate in severe clutter and extreme jamming environments to detect objects with incredibly low radar cross-sections. We are talking about stealth fighters, cruise missiles hugging the terrain, small kamikaze drones, and even hypersonic glide vehicles. Furthermore, the GlobalEye is a true multi-domain platform. While it's scanning the stratosphere for stealth aircraft, its secondary belly-mounted maritime surveillance radar and electro-optical sensors are simultaneously tracking submarines, periscopes, fast attack boats, and ground convoys moving through dense forests. It sees everything across the land, sea, and sky all at once. The role of AEW&C in modern warfare. Why does Canada need to spend $5 billion on flying radars? Why not just build bigger radar stations on the ground? The answer is physics, specifically the curvature of the Earth. Ground-based radars, no matter how powerful, are limited by the horizon. If an adversary launches a low-flying cruise missile, a ground radar simply cannot see it until it is perilously close. By taking a massive radar and putting it on a jet flying at 35,000 feet, you push the horizon back by hundreds of miles. You eliminate terrain masking, meaning enemy aircraft can no longer hide behind mountains or fly low through valleys to avoid detection. But an AEW&C aircraft is not just a passive camera in the sky. The C stands for control. Inside the cabin of the GlobalEye, sitting at advanced mission consoles, are battle managers. These operators take the massive amount of data sucked in by the radar, process it, and beam a unified, real-time picture of the battlefield to friendly forces. If a swarm of enemy drones approaches, the GlobalEye detects them, categorizes the threat, and securely data links the exact targeting coordinates to friendly fighter jets, naval destroyers, or ground-based air defense systems. In modern aerial warfare, the side that sees first, shoots first, and the AEW&C aircraft is the ultimate high ground. The threat in the high north and NORAD for Canada. The acquisition of the GlobalEye is an existential requirement. Look at a globe from the top down. The shortest route between Russian missile bases in North American cities is directly over the Canadian Arctic. For decades, the sheer brutality of the Arctic climate provided a natural shield. But the ice is melting. New navigable sea lanes are opening up. Both Russia and China are aggressively expanding their presence in the high north, building new icebreakers, establishing forward operating bases, and frequently testing the airspace with strategic bombers. Under the NORAD agreement, the joint US-Canadian pact to defend the continent's airspace, Canada is responsible for watching the northern door. But the legacy systems watching that door are aging rapidly. The GlobalEye is perfectly suited for this theater. The Bombardier 6500 airframe allows the jet to operate from shorter runways in remote, austere northern bases. It has an endurance of roughly 12 hours, meaning it can loiter over the vast, desolate expanses of the Arctic Ocean, scanning deep into international airspace. With hypersonic weapons now a reality, the reaction time for NORAD has shrunk from hours to minutes. The GlobalEye provides the early warning buffer required to scramble interceptors before a threat crosses the Canadian coastline. The showdown, GlobalEye versus Boeing E-7 Wedgetail. This brings us to the most controversial part of the announcement. In choosing Saab, Canada actively rejected the American favorite, the Boeing E-7 Wedgetail. If we look at pure military specifications on paper, the E-7 Wedgetail is a heavier, more capable beast. Built on a Boeing 737 commercial airliner frame, it has substantially more internal space. While the GlobalEye typically houses 5 to 7 mission consoles, the Wedgetail can hold up to 10, allowing it to manage incredibly complex large-scale air wars. The Wedgetail features the massive Northrop Grumman Mesa radar, which provides a true 360-degree uncompromised view. In contrast, the GlobalEye's roof-mounted radar has slight blind spots in the direct front and rear 30-degree arcs, requiring pilots to fly specific holding patterns to ensure continuous coverage. Furthermore, the Wedgetail has air-to-air refueling capabilities. In recent conflicts, Wedgetails have flown continuous 17-hour missions. The GlobalEye lacks aerial refueling, hard-capping its endurance. And finally, the Wedgetail is deeply entrenched in the NATO ecosystem. It is operated by Australia, South Korea, Turkey, and has been selected by the UK and the United States Air Force. Buying the Wedgetail would have guaranteed Canada seamless, flawless integration with the US military. So if the Boeing E-7 is bigger, more networked with the US, and arguably more capable in a massive high-end war, why did Canada say no? The geopolitics of sovereign defense. The answer lies in the shifting geopolitical tectonic plates. Canada's decision was not made strictly by Air Force generals comparing radar specs. It was made by politicians and strategists looking at the future of Canadian sovereignty. First, there is the industrial reality. When a country buys an American defense product, they often buy a sealed black box. The United States tightly guards its intellectual property, and foreign military sales usually mean sending billions of dollars out of the country to support American factory towns. Furthermore, Boeing has been plagued by severe supply chain issues and delays. The UK's Wedgetail program, for instance, has been delayed by years. Saab, conversely, offered a fundamentally different partnership. Because Saab is from Sweden in mid-sized power, it cannot rely on the sheer diplomatic muscle of the US to force sales. It has to compete by being incredibly generous with its technology. Saab agreed to a massive technology transfer. The airframes are already built by Bombardier in Toronto. Under this deal, Saab plans to build at least a third of the GlobalEye fleet entirely in Canada. They are setting up a domestic hub, sharing intellectual property, and generating an estimated 3,000 highly skilled jobs for the Canadian economy over the next 15 years. But beyond economics, there is a profound strategic anxiety in Ottawa. Successive American administrations have increasingly viewed trade and defense through a transactional, America First lens. Canadian leadership has realized that being 100% reliant on the U.S. military-industrial complex is a massive strategic vulnerability. At the CANSEC announcement, Canada's defense minister explicitly stated that this decision was about diversifying relationships. By partnering with Sweden, a newly minted NATO member with a highly advanced independent defense industry, Canada is building a European counterweight to its American dependence. It is a declaration of strategic autonomy. Canada is choosing to build its own sovereign defense capacity rather than simply acting as a subsidiary of the Pentagon. A global shift in defense procurement. The reverberations of Canada's choice will be felt far beyond Ottawa and Washington. It highlights a massive global shift in how allied nations are approaching defense procurement in the late 2020s. The war in Ukraine exposed the fragility of global supply chains. Nations are waking up to the reality that if a major, protracted war breaks out, you cannot rely on importing spare parts and software updates from a factory an ocean away. Domestic production capability is now viewed as a critical component of national security. The era of unchecked American defense monopolies in the West is cracking. Mid-tier defense powers like Sweden, France, and South Korea are aggressively stepping into the void. They are winning massive contracts not by offering the heaviest, most expensive gear, but by offering flexible systems, affordable operating costs, and most importantly, the keys to the technology. Canada's procurement of the Saab GlobalEye is a masterpiece of this new era. It secures the Arctic with a highly capable, modern sensor network. It injects billions of dollars in cutting-edge aerospace IP into the domestic economy. And strategically, it signals that while Canada remains a steadfast ally to the United States, it refuses to be wholly dependent on it. As the ice thaws in the high north and great power competition accelerates, Canada's new eyes in the sky won't just be watching the Russians. They will be a constant, flying reminder of Ottawa's newfound independence.